We're here with Adrian Basso, the GM, aka the King of PBS Radio in Melbourne. How are you?
I'm not the king, but thank you for having me.
Hey, it's so good to have you.
Thank you.
You're representing the Megahertz here tonight.
Part of Megahertz, PBS and Triple R, and I suppose I've got the scarf on, so yeah, I'm sort of dressed accordingly.
What's your role in the game? You've pulled on the boots before?
I have for many years. I retired 2 years ago, so I didn't play last year. I found that it took me about 4 or 5 months to recover. I'd often go to the doctors after the game and go, I think my kidney or liver's playing up, and they would test it and it would be okay. And then I'd go, oh, that was the time I fell on my back. So
Not the celebratory drink.
I've decided to give up. I'm not 18 years old anymore.
What are you on the coaching panel now?
No, I'm probably more administration, sort of, just behind the scenes dealing with stuff.
And what do you think's the best thing about the day?
It's so many different things. I often tell people it's not the best game of footy that you'll watch, but it's an interesting game of footy to watch. There's great music, there's community, there's camaraderie. The day's about 2 stations get together, and we sort of obviously train a lot together leading up to the game. And there's the rivalry against the Rock Dogs too. It's got all these moving parts that are quite interesting, and it's unique. 10,000 people turning up to see a shit game of footy. It's it's unique.
And they're also obviously working with the Rock Dogs. So, I mean, throughout the year, the radio stations play the music. You work together anyway.
Not always. Well, it depends. If they're good to us and they let us win, we might play their music.
Right, okay.
Not that any of that comes out in the day.
Okay, so there's a bit of politics behind the scenes.
It's amazing how the tensions do sort of, they do escalate even on the day. And, we threaten them, we won't play their music, but none of it actually happens.
Because, yeah, it's sort of it's a family thing, really.
Well, I take my children to the day, so it's a family affair, if you mean that. It is a sort of day where you can, your family, your kids and all that sort of stuff. One of the things that my kids used to ask, and I have to explain to them that it doesn't happen these days, is the streaking. Right. Because the streaking doesn't happen anymore because they get booked and fined.
I think last year there was, maybe some faux streaking with some sort of bodysuits.
And they got away with it. So I think that should happen a bit more.
Found the loophole.
They did.
And who do you think is going to win this year?
They usually win. They've got a bigger gene pool than we. We've got 2 stations and we've got a few hundred volunteers and whatever. But they've got, anyone can be in a band, anyone can have a go at it. And I'm not going to say this, but often they cheat.
Wait, you said I'm not going to say this, but often they cheat.
They do. They've got form with this. I'm not saying that they'll do that this year, but there has been incidents in the past where Rupert Pteris, who was a grand final player for Collingwood, jumped on the field or ran onto the field and kicked 3 goals several years ago. So if that's not cheating, I don't know what is.
That's pretty blatant, I reckon.
Yes.
What? So can you tell us anything about what the event and who's going to be playing on the day, or is this still all top secret?
No, we've got the sort of regulars. So Chris Gill's still captain. We've got a new co-captain from Megahertz, which is Miss Risk. Hopefully people know her. She's from a hip-hop sort of jazz sort of background. We'll have a few new players. I'm not going to preempt the day because there's a selection process. They have to turn up the training. They have to survive training. But their side, who knows? But it's a bigger day than just the game. It's the music. There's the fact that people turn up and watch it. It's an interesting day. It's not something that normally happens anywhere else.
And this is going to be the 3rd or 4th year in the northern suburbs. Is there any chance of ever returning down south?
I don't think so. I hope not, because I like it on the north side. I'm sorry about all the south side people. But it had been in Elsternwick Park for quite a while, and it had been Punt Road and whatever, but it's been Vic Park for the last couple of years. And it's actually hard to move the event to a new venue. You have to learn how that works in a new environment. And Vic Park's good. So Vic Park's a renowned footy field. It's like a Collingwood. It's not far from PBS. It's not far from Triple R. I don't think there's an expectation that it will move, but you never know. It's Community Cup. Anything can happen.
That's right. Well, I guess finally, do you want to talk a bit about Reclink and why the day is important in that aspect?
So Reclink do really important stuff with marginalised and disenfranchised people. So the day is about raising funds for their work. It's a fun sort of event, but there's a serious side to it, which is for them so they can proceed on their initiatives and programs. They've done some great stuff. We've got one of our players that have been through the system as well. They've hit rock bottom and they've come out on the other side. And like Reclink meant a lot for them. So there's a personal side for us because we know that person. So it's a good cause. So people should dig deep, contribute. So often you've got opportunity to throw in a gold coin or whatever. So it's all for a good cause. It's for an organisation that does good work in the community, and I encourage people to turn up. And if you're there on the day, throw some money.
Awesome. Thanks so much for talking to us.